A dangerous encounter. A pregnant black woman walks home alone after picking up groceries. The streets are quiet, but she feels a sense of unease. A police officer pulls up beside her and calls out, demanding she stop. She hesitates but complies, hoping to avoid trouble. The officer steps out of the car, his expression unreadable. "Where are you coming from?" he asks in a stern tone. She calmly explains, but he doesn't seem satisfied. The tension in the air grows as she realizes this isn't a routine stop. A shout from the shadows. The officer freezes for a moment, startled by the deep, commanding voice. The pregnant woman turns her head, relief washing over her face. Her husband steps out from the shadows, his eyes burning with anger. He moves with quiet strength, his fists clenched but controlled. "I said, get your hands off my wife," he repeats, his voice steady but deadly serious. The officer narrows his eyes, sizing him up, then scoffs. "Stay out of this, sir, or you'll be in trouble too," the officer warns. But the husband doesn't back down. He steps closer, standing tall and fearless. Bystanders continue recording, whispering among themselves. The tension thickens. This moment could change everything. The officer's hand hovers over his taser, his stance turning defensive. The husband locks eyes with him, unwavering, his protective instincts surging. "You're the one in trouble," the husband says, glancing at the bystanders recording. The officer shifts uncomfortably, realizing more people are watching. The pregnant woman clutches her belly, trying to steady her breathing. "She's not a threat. She's my wife. Let her go," the husband says firmly. The officer hesitates but keeps his grip tight, unwilling to back down. The street is silent except for the hum of distant traffic and the tension in the air. One wrong move could send the situation spiraling out of control. The husband stands his ground, refusing to let fear dictate the moment. The officer's arrogance, the officer scoffs, his grip tightening as he glares at the husband. "Back off, or I'll arrest you too," he threatens, his hand now resting on his taser. The husband doesn't flinch, his voice calm but firm. "You have no right to touch her." The officer sneers, dismissing him. She was resisting. That's enough for an arrest. The woman, still pressed against the car, breathes heavily, trying to stay composed. The bystanders murmur louder, some stepping closer, their phones recording everything. "We see what's happening," one person says. "Let her go." The officer glances at the growing crowd, but his pride keeps him from backing down. "This is official police business," he snaps, but doubt flickers in his eyes. The husband crosses his arms, his presence alone making a statement. "You're not winning this." Standers record the incident. More people gather, their phones raised, capturing every second of the confrontation. "We're live streaming this," someone calls out. The world is watching. The officer glances around, his confidence wavering as he realizes he's outnumbered. The pregnant woman, still shaken, looks toward her husband, drawing strength from him. "Let her go, man. You're making it worse for yourself," another bystander says. The husband steps even closer, his voice calm but firm. "You know you're wrong. Do the right thing." The officer's jaw tightens, still gripping his taser, debating his next move. Sirens wail in the distance. Backup is arriving. The crowd watches in tense silence, waiting to see what happens next. The officer is now faced with a choice: escalate or retreat. A second police car pulls up, red and blue lights flashing across the tense scene. A supervising officer steps out, his expression serious as he takes in the situation. Bystanders immediately call out, "He grabbed her for no reason. We got it all on video." The pregnant woman, still shaken, looks toward the new officer for help. The husband stands firm, eyes locked on the first officer, refusing to back down. The supervising officer walks over, demanding, "What's going on here?" The first officer stammers, realizing he's now under scrutiny. The husband speaks up. "This man assaulted my pregnant wife. You need to handle this." The supervisor turns to the crowd, watching the phones recording every detail. "Turn on your body cam," he orders the first officer, whose face pales as reality sets in. The officer faces consequences. The supervising officer reviews the situation, listening to the crowd and checking the footage. The first officer's body cam reveals his excessive force, confirming the witness's accounts. "Hand over your badge and weapon," the supervisor orders sternly. The officer stammers, trying to justify himself, but the evidence is overwhelming. You're suspended pending investigation, the supervisor announces. The crowd cheers as justice starts to unfold. The officer, humiliated, reluctantly steps back, releasing the pregnant woman. She rushes into her husband's arms, tears of relief in her eyes. You're going to answer for this, the husband tells the disgraced officer. The officer is escorted away, knowing his abuse of power has finally caught up with him. The disgraced officer is taken away as the crowd cheers for justice. The supervising officer apologizes to the pregnant woman and her husband. This shouldn't have happened, he admits. We'll make sure he's held accountable. The woman, still shaken but relieved, clutches her husband's hand. Thank you for standing up for me, she whispers to him. Always, he replies, pulling her into a protective embrace. The bystanders continue recording, ensuring the world knows the truth. The couple walks away, stronger than ever, knowing they fought back and won. Later, news spreads of the officer's suspension, igniting a conversation about justice. That night, the husband and wife sit together, grateful for their love, their strength, and their future. Outline. Here's what could happen next. 11. The aftermath and new beginnings. The video of the incident goes viral, sparking public outrage and calls for justice. News stations cover the story, bringing attention to police misconduct. The husband and wife are interviewed, sharing their experience and demanding change. The officer faces legal consequences, and reforms within the department are discussed. The pregnant woman receives overwhelming support from the community. Strangers send messages of encouragement, and activists rally for stronger protections. As months pass, she gives birth to a healthy baby, a symbol of resilience and hope. They name the baby something meaningful, representing strength and justice. The couple vows to continue advocating for others facing similar injustices. Their story becomes a turning point, proving that standing up for what's right can change lives. Would you like a picture for this moment? To share their story, inspiring others to stand up against injustice. The community organizes rallies and petitions for police reform. The disgraced officer is officially convicted, setting a precedent for accountability. The husband and wife start a foundation to support victims of police brutality. Their child grows up knowing their parents fought for justice and change. Years later, the family visits the spot where it all happened, now a symbol of resilience. A mural is painted in their honor, reminding everyone of the power of unity. Schools invite them to speak about standing up for what's right. The once frightening memory transforms into a source of pride and purpose. Their legacy continues, proving that courage and love can change the world. Would you like a picture to represent this final chapter?